Good evening. This is Susan, and this is Susan's Ramblings. I have a couple of things to discuss with you today. We were told yesterday that due to water breaks, and they are also repairing our water lines, that on Monday we will have no water. The entire town will have no water. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I have extra water put away. Not just for drinking, but for flushing the toilet. And believe me when I say all my buckets and all my pans and all my everything will be filled with water. But what would have happened if they hadn't given us any notice? What if they had just shut off the water? And we've had that happen. And we've had it happen several times. And several times we have been without water for a week. Yeah. One time we were lucky and it was winter. So we had the snow outside. That was probably the only thing that saved most of us. But it takes a lot of snow. An awful lot of snow. So anyway, it got me thinking. What happened to all these people who do not have the water stored up? And I'm going to say 99% of them, of the people in this town, and we've got a small town, do not have extra water stockpiled. I say this with quite a certainty because the last time it happened, I had plenty of water. I had no problem. But when I went to replenish my water, especially my drinking water, now boy, I've stocked up on drinking water since then. Lots and lots and lots of drinking water. But when I went to get some more, I was at my local grocery store, and it's just a small store. Not a mom and pop store. Anyway, but it's an expensive store. And I went to get some water. They were the only ones that had water available in town. Expensive? Oh yeah, it was expensive. But I needed some. So I got some. And while I was paying, one of the gentlemen that I know quite well, who works there, came up and asked me if I was okay with the water, if I needed more water, because he would certainly get it for me. And I told him no, I was fine. And I started to tell him how I had saved all my empty soap containers. You know, your dish soap, your laundry soap, those kind of things, bleach bottles, and vinegar bottles, and had filled them up with water. And they're stored under my kitchen table. Funny place to store it, but it's there. I don't have much room in my apartment. I knew it was safe there. If something happened and it started to leak, I would see it right away. And so it was a place for me to store. So no, I had no problem. And his eyes just glazed over completely. And I thought, well, he didn't want to hear that one. So I don't think I've ever told anybody since then. But, so I can say with certainty that people do not have, in our town, do not have water stored up. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, I'll be fine with the water. Even if it goes on for days. You all have your paper plates, paper cups, plastic silverware, like we all put in our preps, or at least I hope we do. We're fine. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about is FEMA came out with a thing this weekend. It's on a Saturday. And I got this from Pinball. That to expect energy crisis, electrical energy crisis this year. And if something happened to your electric grid, do not expect them to be repaired immediately. The reason for that is they don't have the supplies. The supply train has caught up with us. They can't get the parts that they need to fix our grid. And so we may be looking at extended power outages. Something to think about, huh? Yeah. I pray it doesn't come during the winter. I've gone through power outages due to storms, both in the winter and in the summer. And believe me, summer is much easier to handle than the winter. Winter is brutal if you have a power outage. And we had, well, I'm not talking about outage of 6-7 hours. I'm talking weeks. And we had a week. We had weeks of outages because of a winter storm, ice storm. It just coated all the electrical stuff, electrical wires, and broke the poles. And I mean, it broke all of the poles. You go for miles and you see broken poles. The whole county, the whole area, and it involved Silver County, were without power. We were without power for 2 weeks. And no, we don't have a city generator. We survived, but it was brutal. Thank God for fireplaces, barbecue grills, and so forth. We also had a big storm in the winter one summer, and it took several transformers. I don't know what it took. I don't remember. But it was a big storm that went through. They called it straight winds. I don't know. I listened to that, and it sure sounded like a tornado to me. And the damage was tornado. But that outage was a lot easier to work with than it was the winter outage. So it's just something to think about. What would you do if your power went out for a week, 2 weeks, even years? You know, if the power went out and set us back that far, we could go back to the 1800s. Oh, can you imagine it? Yeah. I don't even want to imagine that. That is it's crazy, isn't it? By the way, watch your news over the weekends. Because if the government wants something to go out and not panic the people and kind of slide it by everybody, they do it on the weekends. Starting on Friday, or like this morning, they did with FEMA. FEMA did it. I put it through, and nobody paid any attention to it. News didn't pick it up. Of course, major stations never pick up something like that, okay? But anyway, so watch your news on the weekends. Pay particular attention to what the government is saying. Says this, our agencies say that weekend. You might be surprised. All right, that's it for today. Have a good evening. It's almost time for bed here. Have a good weekend and the rest of the weekend. And God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.